Good morning. Our lesson today, record subtraction with renaming. Example number 1. Subtract 6 and 1/9 minus 3 and third. Firstly, we start to make common denominator. We write the whole numbers firstly are the same, 6 and 3. Then, because 9 is divisible by 3, we use 9 as a common denominator. Then, 9 multiply what equals 9? 9 multiply 1 equals 9, and 3 multiplied by 3 equals 9. For that, we multiply the numerators. 1 multiplied by 1 and 1 multiplied by 3. 1 multiplied by 1 equals 1, and 1 multiplied by 3 equals 3. But because the first numerator is smaller than the second numerator, we can't subtract 1 minus 3. We borrow 1 from the whole number, borrow 1 from 6. 6 will be 5, and then we add the denominator and the numerator. 9 plus 1 equals 10. Now subtract the whole numbers firstly. 5 minus 3 equals 2, and the fraction 10 minus 3 equals 7 over 9. The result will be 2 and 7 over 9. Another example, 9 and 1 over 8 minus 5 and third. Firstly, write the whole numbers are the same, 9 and 5. Because 8 not divisible by 3, we multiply them and use the result as a common denominator. 8 multiplied by 3 equals 24. 8 multiplied 3 equals 24, and 3 multiplied by 8 equals 24. For that, we multiply the two numerators. The first one, 1 multiplied by 3 equals 3, and 1 multiplied by 8 equals 8. And here, 3 is smaller than 8. We can't subtract them. Borrow 1 from the whole number. Borrow 1 from 9. 9 will be 8, and we add the denominator and the numerator. 24 plus 3 equals 27. Subtract now. 8 minus 5 equals 3, and the fraction numerators 27 minus 8 equals 19, and we write the denominator as the same, 24. Then the result will be 3 and 19 over 24. Another example, 7 and a quarter minus 1 and a half. Write 7 and 1 the same, the two whole numbers. And then because 4 is divisible by 2, we use 4 as a common denominator. 4 multiplied by 1 equals 4, and 2 multiplied by 2 equals 4. For that, we multiply 1 by 1. 1 multiplied by 1 equals 1, and 1 multiplied by 2 equals 2. And here, because 1 smaller than 2, the first numerator, smaller than the second numerator, we can't subtract them. Borrow 1 from the whole number, borrow 1 from 7. 7 will be 6, and we add the denominator and the numerator. 4 plus 1 equals 5. Subtract now the whole numbers. 6 minus 1 equals 5, and the fraction 5 minus 2 equals 3 over 4. The result will be 5 and 3 quarters. Another example, 6 and 2 over 7 minus 4 and a half. We write 6 and 4 the same, the two whole numbers. Then, because 7 not divisible by 2, we multiply 7 by 2 equals 14. For that, we use 14 as a common denominator. 7 multiplied by 2 equals 14, and 2 multiplied by 7 equals 14. For that, we multiply the first numerator. 2 multiplied by 2 equals 4, and 1 multiplied by 7 equals 7. Also here, 4 smaller than 7. We can't subtract them. For that, we borrow 1 from the whole number. Borrow 1 from 6. 6 will be 5, and add 14 plus 4. 14 plus 4 equals 18. Subtract now the whole numbers firstly. 5 minus 4 equals 1, and 18 minus 7 equals 11 over 14. Then the result is 1 and 11 over 14. Another example, 8 and 1 over 14 minus 4 and 1 over 7. We write the whole numbers the same, 8 and 4. And because 14 is divisible by 7, use 14 as a common denominator. Then 14 multiplied by 1 equals 14, and 7 multiplied by 2 equals 14. For that, we multiply the two numerators. The first one, 1 multiplied by 1 equals 1, and the second, 1 multiplied by 2 equals 2. Subtract now the whole numbers firstly. 8 minus 4 equals, because 1 is smaller than 2 here, we borrow 1 from 8, it will be 7, and we add 14 plus 1 equals 15, then subtract 7 minus 4 equals 3, and the fraction 15 minus 2 equals 13 over 14, then the result is 3 and 13 over 14. Another example, 9 and third minus half. Write 9 the same, and there is no whole number in the second one, it's a fraction only. Because 3 is not divisible by 2, we multiply 3 by 2 firstly. 3 multiplied by 2 equals 6, use 6 as a common denominator. And 3 multiplied by 2 equals 6, and 2 multiplied by 3 equals 6. Multiply the first numerator, 1 multiplied by 2 equals 2, and the second, 1 multiplied by 3 equals 3. Subtract now, we can't subtract 2 minus 3. Borrow 1 from the whole number. 9 will be 8, and add the denominator and the numerator. 6 plus 2 equals 8. Subtract now. We write 8 the same because there is no whole number here. And then subtract the numerators. 8 minus 3 equals 5 over 6. Then the result is 8 and 5 over 6. Another example. Here 6 and 1 over 9. When we borrow 1 from 6, it will be 5. And because we borrow 1, it's 9 over 9. Because here we have denominator is 9. And we add 9 over 9 plus 1 over 9. It will be 5 and 10 over 9. This to understand why we make this step. Now, another idea. Subtract 7 minus 3 and third. Whole number minus mixed number. For that, we borrow 1 from 7. It will be 6. And the one we borrowed, we write it as a fraction according to the second denominator. Because we have 3 in the second denominator here, it will be 3 over 3. Then we write this mixed numbers the same. Now subtract the whole numbers. 6 minus 3 equals 3. And 3 over 3 minus 1 over 3 equals 2 over 3. It will be 3 and 2 thirds. Another example, 9 minus 6 and 1 over 7. We borrow 1 from 9, it will be 8, and we have denominator 8 here. We write it as a fraction 8 over 8. Minus 6 and 7 over 8. Subtract now. 8 minus 6 equals 2, and 8 over 8 minus 7 over 8 equals 1 over 8. The result will be 2 and 1 over 8. Another example, 11 minus 6 and 7 over 13. Borrow 1 from 11. It will be 10. And the denominator here is 13. It will be 13 over 13. Minus, this mixed will be the same, 6 and 7 over 13. Subtract now. 10 minus 6 equals 4. And the denominator will be 13 the same. Then subtract 13 minus 7 equals 6. It will be 4 and 6 over 13. Another example, 8 minus 2 and 3 over 7. Borrow 1 from 8. It will be 7. And the denominator is 7. It will be 7 over 7 minus 2 and 3 over 7. 7 minus 2 equals 5. And denominator will be 7. And 7 minus 3 equals 4. It will be 5 and 4 over 7. Another example, 4 and minus 7 over 10. Borrow 1 from 4. It will be 3. And the one we borrowed, we write it as a fraction 10 over 10. Because we have 10 here in the second denominator. Minus 7 over 10. 3 is the same because we don't have whole number in the second one. And then subtract 10 minus 7, it will be 3 over 10. The result will be 3 and 3 over 10. Another example, 12 minus 8 and 3 over 4. Borrow 1 from 12, it will be 11. Denominator 4 here, it will be 4 over 4. Minus the second mixed number as the same, it will be 8 and 3 quarters. Subtract now. 11 minus 8 equals 3. And 4 over 4 minus 3 over 4 equals 1 over 4. The result will be 3 and quarter. This is the end of our lesson. Thanks, guys.